The weeks are winding down now until the kids are back in school, which means drivers better pay attention to the signs. Kids will be crossing the road back and forth, and you need to make sure you're taking that extra precaution to keep them safe.
That's right, because if you don't, that's where this guy comes in. Dallas Horton, he's back with us this morning with what you can face if you're not following the rules of the road. Dallas, great having you here as always.
Good to see you, Sean Marie.
Good
Lovely
morning.
to see you
Same
again.
here.
Glad you're my hostess today.
Oh,
Very excited.
nice to see you.
Ultimately, you don't want to be getting that call, obviously.
No,
you want people to be safe.
there are two things that nobody wants. No lawyer wants to sign up a child.
Yeah.
And no one in the public wants to hurt a child. Mm-hmm. You know, I have these talks every year before school starts, and every year, I sign up a broken skull of a child.
Wow.
What people have to realize is when a car hits a little child, the bumper can break their skull, the hood can break their skull. What most likely occurs is they get thrown 10 or 15 feet because they're so little.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah, and then the cement breaks their skull. And these kids get brain injuries. They really get hurt because there's no car around them. And we gotta, all of us just need to be so hyper vigilant. I mean, there's a little bit that parents and children can do and a little bit the drivers can do.
What can parents do to ensure their child's safety?
Well, that goes under two categories to me. The kids that get out of school when school gets out,
yeah.
Right when it gets out. The parent that doesn't work should pick their kid up and bring them home. Or go walk to get their child and then walk their kid home. Other than that, we really got to work with the children and let them know, hey, you got to
some ground rules.
Got to use the crosswalk.
Yeah.
All right. Use the crossing guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then when you're walking home, you're going to have to look both ways. You're really going to have to be careful. Stay to the far right because people get up on curbs. Don't be the kid that gets hit because somebody's not paying attention. They hit the edge of the curb. Mm-hmm. Make sure they stay to the far right. When it comes to those children that are in the clubs after school, that are ball players of whatever sort, cheerleaders, dancers, choir. These kids don't. They usually get out of school after the flashing light is over.
And there's no more crossing guards. They're on their own at that point.
Yeah. Now those kids really ought to be picked up and brought home, or walked and got and brought home. You know, even the 13 and 14-year-olds, as much as they hate it, it really should be brought home. If they're there during that time, they still got to use the crosswalk. They need to be hyper vigilant. They need to look both ways if the parents can't pick them up or go get them for some reason. The children just need to be super cautious once that flashing light goes off.
Yeah.
With respect to the drivers, I say two things. That 15-mile-an-hour flashlight, that's the highest speed you can go.
Yeah.
Okay. You can be driving too fast for conditions at 15 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. When you see kids crossing, because you're going 15 doesn't mean a police officer's not going to give you a ticket if you hit a child.
And it's not cheap.
Yeah. You got to look both ways. You have to really pay attention to what's going on in front of you. Mm-hmm. You really have to assume every child will jump out in front of your car because they're children, and they may.
I've done it before.
Okay. And you know what? I drive to work every day, and my route is the same, but children have been off for summer vacation right now, and so now, you know, it's back. It's going to be reinstated with the speed limit sign, you know, for 15 miles an hour, and people really have to be cautious about that.
They do. They got to pay attention to where they are and what they're doing, and my humble opinion is to the drivers out there, when you get around a school, because of clubs and athletics, these kids are going to be getting out as late as 5, sometimes 6 o'clock. When you get around a school, use the school speed. Yeah. Just go 15 and be hyper vigilant. Children, after school, play on school property, whether they're allowed to or not. So we have to stay so cautious for these babies. And nobody wants to be the defendant that killed or maimed a child, and you have to live with that.
No question. And kids have to know where these new, like they might be using a new bus route or something like that. They might not know where they're getting picked up or dropped off. They should know before the first day of school. Right?
Absolutely. I think parents should take their kids and say, this is where your bus is going to pick you up. This is where your bus is going to drop you off. If they're not going to be, that's a very good point. Thank you, Sean. If they're not going to be with their kids, walking them back and forth each time, I'd practice it a couple of times so they're very comfortable.
Because if, God forbid, the kid is down the street a little bit,
and
they see the thing, they're running across the road really quick, that's when stuff like that happens.
Absolutely. That's when you walk into super danger, and that's when people hurt children. And sometimes, and I'll say this, it's the child's fault, and sometimes it's the adult's fault. But we as adults can almost always avoid it by just using a little extra caution.
Staying off the phones, not texting, paying attention
whatever
to
you
speed
do.
limit signs.
Whatever you
That's
do.
a good rule, even when the kids are
no cell phone, no. I mean, don't even be talking on the phone. When you look, both hands on the wheel, look before you, in front the whole time you're around children. Also, keep in mind, it doesn't rain a lot here. When it does rain, the roads are very slick. and we don't like it as adults, but the kids love it. They're going to be out playing in it.
Right.
So be very careful when school starts because you're still in that kind of monsoon season. We had a very light year of rain this summer, so I think August and September can be kind of decent for us for rain. So I want us to be real careful, especially in the rain.
Dallas, pleasure as
Thank
always.
you so much
Hey,
for
thank
coming
you.
on
Thank
again.
you for having me. I love being able to talk about babies, and y'all, please, let's take care of our babies. Let's make sure they don't get hurt.
Be
Amen
safe.
to that. Dallas's firm, located on Southeastern Avenue. For more information, you can call the number or go to gdallashorton.com. This segment's going to be available on our website, vegasmorningblend.com.